It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Going back to 2010, which was a good 15 years ago now, nearly 16 years ago, I can't believe it. I started this YouTube channel and I was sent a box of beer from my brewery tap. That was the October of 2010. So yeah, about 15 years ago from the date of recording this in August. The reason I say that is because when I opened that box, I pulled out a number of American beers and some British beers, and one of the 330 milliliter bottles back then was a bottle of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Hadn't heard of it, had no idea what it was, reviewed it on the channel. The review is still on YouTube. Oh, the ABV's changed. It's worth looking at. It really is. It's really worth looking at. Because it was the first time I probably had some kind of like American style pale ale, and I was just blown away, completely blown away by this beer. It's 2025 now. Sierra Nevada had this thing in the UK. It was doing okay. You could pick up Torpedo in Waitrose for a long time. They're double IPA, and of course you could have picked up Sierra Nevada Pale Ale from Morrison's. But then, as with most things in life, that initial excitement, it's a bit like riding a bike. You start to ride a bike, and then after the initial 3 or 4 weeks is over, the excitement is gone. You're just riding a bike. Well, the same can be said for beer. The same can be said for Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. That initial excitement over the years wears off. And that must have happened for a lot of people in the UK, but the beer disappeared, basically. I haven't seen Sierra Nevada Pale Ale on a supermarket shelf in any British supermarket, probably for about 3 or 4 years. If I'm wrong, please comment in the comments box. I'm not always right. But I went to Asda and I seen this and I thought, oh, look at this. Because last year, Asda brought out Stone IPA in a big chimney tall boy sort of can. And that was like a blast from the past, seeing Stone IPA in a big can on the supermarket shelf. And the same thing happened the other day when I went to Asda. I seen this in a big can, because they're usually in 330 milliliter cans. This is in a 473 milliliter can. And I thought, I gotta get this, I gotta review it. I'm glad I have, because the beer used to be 5.6% ABV. The beer is now 5% ABV. I haven't followed the American beer market closely for a while, so I don't know if there was any controversy, if you like, in Sierra Nevada lowering the ABV of their flagship beer, if you like. Or maybe, and that's another one for the comments box, maybe it's still 5.6% ABV in America, and they've just lowered it to 5% ABV for the UK market because of our fantastic tax laws that we have in the UK about, really pulling the pants down of brewers and taxing them for all they're worth. That's what we get here in the UK. Perhaps Sierra Nevada are saving money by that 0.5, 0.6% ABV, and they're brewing the beer at 5% ABV for the UK market. Perhaps that's the case. Called draft style beer. We've got a 2-finger, slightly off-white head. It's an ivory coloured head. Good levels of carbonation. It still looks the same. It's that kind of darker amber. There's a little bit of sediment. There's nice amounts of carbonation. Let's get the aroma. Whoa, yeah. But it still has that Sierra Nevada kind of signature sort of cascadey grapefruit sweetness. I was so excited when I first reviewed this beer. I think I was jumping off the worktop counters over there. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh, yes. Ooh, yeah. There's that bitterness. There's that bitterness on the back end. Ooh, ooh, I think it's changed a little bit. You get that kind of like American toffee apple sweet beginning to the beer, and I think that might be glucose. I think after all of these years talking about kind of like American toffee apple flavors, maybe the Americans have been using glucose for a number of years and I've just not realized until I've really kind of knuckled down and nailed down on glucose, because I don't really like it. It gives me a headache. Let's go again. Yeah, there's a little bit of toffee apple. It's got a lovely bitterness on the back end. It's kind of got that grapefruit, that orange peel flavour coming through. But there's a worrying, maybe not. Let me explain. The middle's a bit empty. That you get that kind of toffee apple, and then you're waiting. That middle, like if you notice, I'm like, what's going on? Ah, there's the bitterness. So that middle of the beer, there's not much happening. But I think that was always the case. I think that was always like, I always used to wait for that bitterness to come in and punch you on the chops. I think we're so used to New England IPA these days with this big, bold middle flavours that we forget that the classic West Coast flavours are all about that kind of biting, punching, bitter finish on the back end. Am I disappointed the beer's not 5.6% ABV anymore? That would be more a political thing, and I don't really bring overly kind of political things on YouTube channels. I've seen it when other channels have done it, and their channels just sink. Their channels think. I think you turn up here for a bit of joy and a bit of fun and a bit of hey ho, that man's having a laugh drinking beer. I think that's what this channel's all about, really, isn't it? So I'm not gonna. Of course, it's probably what I mentioned earlier. It's probably tax reasons that the beer's gone down to 5% ABV. It wouldn't be drinkability. It wouldn't be that people don't like to drink 5.6%, 6% ABV beers, because they do, don't they? They do. Let's be frank. The question is, would I buy it again? Do I still have that same nostalgic feeling towards the beer? I think it has changed. Certainly the 5% version has changed. It's a little bit like when Brewdog Punk IPA was reduced in the ABV, and it didn't quite taste the same. And the same with Northern Monk and their Faith. Northern Monk's Faith used to be brilliant. It was fantastic, as did Brewdog's Punk IPA. But they're not the same beers anymore. I don't see Faith around as much as I used to do. I see Punk IPA everywhere, but I don't buy it. They're different beers. They're not the same. They're not the same as that original crunching, fantastic, like world-changing beers, weren't they? At the time, they were iconic. I feel that this has changed. I'd love to know if it's changed in America. Love to know that. So for this rating, I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. If it wasn't Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and this might be slightly controversial, if I didn't have that slight nostalgic feeling, I might even give it a 6 out of 10. But I'm going to give it a 7 because I've got a funny feeling that the ABV has changed just for the UK market. And I'm slightly nostalgic with the beer. I hope you liked the video. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.